Hi, I'm Rob Awahand, and welcome to part 2 of the Opinions and Support series, Arguments and Counterarguments. I'm glad that you're here. If you're not in one of my classes, welcome, and however you found me, I'm glad you did, and I hope this class is just what you need. So in the last class, we talked about why it's important to have opinions and share opinions. We talked about how discussion is important for democracy. And we looked at some language that can help us to communicate our opinions a little more nicely so that it feels easier and more comfortable for people to disagree with us. We believe that, or I said in the video that I believe, and it's a general idea of democracy, that disagreement and the clash of ideas is how we find better ideas for how our world can work, how our society can work. Let's get into it. In this lecture, we're going to talk about supporting an opinion. We're going to talk about responding to an opinion. And we are going to look at what is a counterargument, what is a rebuttal. We're going to talk a little bit about some vocabulary that's used in debate, things like words like claims and arguments and counterarguments. And then we're going to finish off by looking at an example of that from the textbook if you're in my class. And we're going to look at a different example of that in this video for anybody who is not in my class and isn't using the Unlock textbook. Now, as we said last class, or last video, in a discussion you will hear people disagree. Anytime you get opinions, you also get opinions that disagree with that opinion. That's natural and normal. If there is a position that everybody agrees about, we probably don't talk about it because it would be boring to sit around and say something and have everybody go, yeah. That's a boring conversation. The interesting conversations are the ones where people disagree. When we have opinions, a good thinker supports their opinions. So we could have an opinion like, I like the Avengers movies, and that's a fine opinion to have. And, you know, the Avengers movies are enjoyable. But if somebody asks me questions about that, some people will say, well, here are all the 14 reasons I love the Avengers movies. And other people will go, well, I don't know. I like them, you know, like they're good, right? Right? Out of those two people, I don't think you need to guess which one would be more persuasive, which one would have a better chance of convincing a stranger to give the Marvel or Avengers movies a try. So a good thinker has support for their opinions. And some of the types of support you might use are things like reasons, which is using logic, facts, things that are true that you can look up, data, information that has been gathered in a study by researchers, examples, things, specific cases where something happened that was true or untrue, expert opinions where experts have maybe looked at the reasons, the facts, and the data for you, have gone through all of that information and made a very thoughtful and well-informed opinion, and so forth. There are other ways to support an opinion. Now, if you have an opinion and you give support like this, okay, I like the Avengers movies because I think the storytelling is high quality. I especially appreciate the charismatic actors they found, in particular Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson. And I also think that the ambition of making a series of 20 films is extremely impressive. So now I'm giving reasons for that opinion. And if I give an opinion and support it with a series of reasons, this is called making an argument. So I'll give you an example. I've given you one already, which is, I like Avengers movies. Another one is, I support improving welfare. that is an opinion. It's a perfectly fine opinion, and lots of people have it. Okay, but there are different reasons different people support welfare, and some people support welfare just because, they have a feeling, or because they heard that that's good. But other people support welfare because they've looked at the facts, they've studied it carefully, and they have decided that this is the position that fits their understanding of the world. So here is an opinion: I support improving welfare. Well, let's add some support. Okay, I support improving welfare because every human deserves a roof and a warm bed. So now I have an argument. Well, I have a claim, okay, that every human deserves a warm bed and a roof. That's a claim. That's a statement about the world. Okay. Now, a claim is arguable. That is to say, when somebody makes a claim, when somebody states something about the world, it should be possible to disagree with it. If I say, I like the Avengers movies, you can't really disagree with that. You can't say, no, you don't. Well, yes, I do. You can't tell me that I don't. That's my own personal opinion. But if I say every human deserves a roof and a warm bed, that's something that you can disagree with. And you might ask me some questions to understand why I think that. Well, why do you think every human? What makes them deserve it? Is it just because they're human? Just being born on planet Earth is enough that a person deserves a roof and a warm bed? You can follow up with questions, and some people might disagree as well. Some people might say, no, I disagree that everybody deserves a roof and a warm bed, and here are my reasons. Okay, there are people out there like that. So once we give more detail, once we make more claims, and every human being deserves a roof and a warm bed is a claim, right? It's a statement about the world. Okay, and if I make that statement, I should support it further. I might say something about, oh, well, human dignity is an important thing. Or I might be legal, and I might say, well, look at the United Nations Convention on Human Rights. Or I might make a moral argument, and I might say, well, look at, here are the morals that I was raised with. Or here is some moral philosophy from Immanuel Kant, which says, okay, and I have to give reasons why I think every human deserves that, right? As we add detail, as we make more claims, as we connect those claims with logic that is strong and persuasive, as we support that logic and those claims with facts or statistics, I am putting together an argument for improving welfare. Kind of like a lawyer, right? Just putting together the ideas, showing the connection, giving the support, until it might be hard for somebody to disagree, or somebody who disagrees with me would also have to do a whole lot of work finding their reasons and supporting them. And if I'm doing that and my partner is doing that, well, we have a high quality discussion. We have a high quality debate. And that's the whole idea. Now, you can make a counterclaim. So I think that we should improve welfare. You can also make a claim of the opposite. And that's a counterclaim. And when you connect counterclaims with logic and facts and all that support, then you have a counterargument. So you can make a claim, you can make an argument, you can then, your partner or your friend can make a counterclaim or a counterargument. So maybe when I say that every human deserves, I believe in improving welfare because every human deserves a roof and a warm bed, well, maybe my partner is going to say, okay, well, improving welfare would cause taxes to increase. And when taxes increase, here is some economic data that shows when taxes increase, economic activity goes down. People spend less money, people buy less, people don't buy new cell phones, they just keep their old cell phone longer, and so on. Okay, higher taxes are bad for economic growth. Now, that is a claim that people could dispute as well. Okay, and it's been a long time since I've taken an economics class, but there is support on both sides of that as well, that higher taxes is good or bad for the economy, and it kind of depends on which economic philosopher you believe in. But this is a counterclaim, and when we put those claims together, it's a counter-argument. Okay, that's one way to answer when somebody is making an argument. The other way to answer is to not to make your own argument, right? Because this person is making a new argument. They're talking about economic stuff instead of talking about human rights stuff, which is the original argument. My original argument was a human rights argument. This argument is an economic argument. Okay. However, instead of making a new counterclaim, maybe based on a different idea like economics, or maybe not, you could also attack my human rights argument. And this is called a rebuttal. Okay? When rather than making a new claim, you're attacking my claim and trying to show that my claim is wrong or incorrect, or maybe that my logic is bad, or maybe that my facts are wrong. Okay, this is a rebuttal. So if you're saying, well, it will increase taxes and high taxes are bad for the economy, that is a counterclaim. But if you say, well, you said in your argument that people deserve a roof and a warm bed just because they are alive. Just every human deserves that. I disagree. I believe that if people want a roof and a warm bed, they should find a job they can do and pay for their warm bed and their roof. So not everybody deserves a roof and a warm bed. Only people who can work and pay for it do. And so this is a different type of, this is trying to take away the power of my argument about human rights. This is saying, well, no, human rights isn't the right way to think about this. The way to think about this is people's ability to work, people's ability to earn money, and the idea that people should receive rewards for the work they do. We shouldn't just give away free money. All right, so that's an argument against welfare. So this is a rebuttal, and this is how you make a rebuttal. Okay, going back to the original argument I gave, I like the Avengers movies. Oh, well, why do you like the Avengers movies? Well, I think Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. Well, I disagree with your claim that Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. He talks too fast, and I don't like his voice. He has a very high kind of, his voice is all high, and I don't like his voice. Okay, that is a rebuttal to my claim that Robert Downey Jr. is a great movie star, right? So you can make a rebuttal or a counterclaim either in serious topics like I believe in improving welfare, or in a less serious topic like I enjoy the Avengers movies. Okay, now I'd like you to go to page 49 in your Unlock book, if you have the Unlock book, and look at the Unlock online material. There is a sound file there. Or if you don't have the digital version of the Unlock book, then I'd like you to go to Smart Campus if you're in my class, and look at the video that's in Smart Campus. On page 49, there is a chart with reasons for and against nuclear power. Okay, please do that activity. After you've done it, that's page 49. Here is page 49. Okay, on page 49, if you're using the digital book, there is a debate between Emma and Jack about nuclear energy. Listen to that debate and take notes on this page. After you've done that, please do the activities on the bottom of the page as well. Answer these questions. After you've done all of that, take a photo of the page and upload that page into Smart Campus. Now we're going to keep going in, even if you don't have the Unlock book. We're going to talk a little more about counter-arguments in this video. This video will be a little shorter than the first one. But this is from page 51 of the Unlock book. We use counter-arguments to make our point stronger. To make an effective counter-argument, you need to show that you understand the opposing viewpoint. Anytime you hear an opinion and somebody is disagreeing with the opinion, it's very important in academic work, and really any time, to make sure that you understand clearly the thing that you are disagreeing with. Okay? If you don't really understand my reason for supporting welfare, how can you answer it? You're going to be answering something I didn't actually say. This is especially risky because, especially these days on the internet, it seems like a lot of people intentionally misunderstand somebody's argument or somebody's supporting reasons or the logic that somebody is using. They intentionally misunderstand or misrepresent somebody's reasons or somebody's claim to make it easier to argue against. And maybe it's easier to argue against that, but you're not actually disagreeing with the thing I said. This is sometimes also people use kind of a weakened or sort of exaggerated or ridiculous version of your opponent's argument in order to make it easier to attack. And this is a dishonest debate method. So if I say I support improving welfare, and you say, oh, you're just going to give everybody $1 million and all the poor people are going to be richer than the rich people, and you're going to tax all the rich people, all of their money all the time, and everybody, you just want everybody to be poor. It sounds like you're a communist. Well, that's not what I said. Reply to the things I actually said. Understand them accurately so that you're responding specifically to the things I said and to the arguments I made. That is one of the really common logical mistakes, and it's kind of cheating. It's a way of cheating in a debate, but also it doesn't work because intelligent, careful thinkers are quick to notice this, and they will notice that you're being intellectually dishonest. It won't work on them. You will end up looking bad. And you also will not persuade people. In fact, a lot of the time, misrepresenting your opponent, the person who disagrees with you, is a quick way to turn a discussion into an argument or a fight. So make sure that you clearly understand what your partner is saying. Every important idea has reasons to support a variety of opinions about it. Again, like I said before, if there was only one reasonable position to hold on an important topic, then everybody would agree and we wouldn't be talking about it. Okay, every important idea has reasons to support a variety of opinions, and this is okay. In fact, as you learn more about a topic, it's very common for your thoughts about it to get more complex. So at the beginning, we might say, I support improving welfare, or I am against improving welfare, right? And that's as complex as I can get in my thinking, because I don't know very much about what welfare is, how it works, how the tax system works, how much it would cost, the different ways of making sure that people who need welfare get it. I don't know any of that stuff, so it's hard for me to get into more detail. But there are lots of possible positions to have about welfare. Now, with nuclear energy, the example that you just listened to a debate for, there are lots of possible positions you can have as well. Here are a few. Okay, nuclear energy is a good power source for the future. Nuclear energy is not a good power source for the future. And those are the two kind of simplest ones. If every time you are giving an opinion about a topic in your classes, the most complex thinking you have, if the most complex thinking you have is I'm for it or I'm against it, your professor might start to get kind of bored or frustrated with that, because that's everybody's first position. And your professor will appreciate if you look a little deeper, try to find a little more nuance, try to find a little more complexity, because that's where real learning happens. That shows that you've learned about the topic more, that you have gathered information and really thought about it. And that will earn respect from your professor if you can give a position that's more nuanced. So here's one that's a little more nuanced. Nuclear energy is a good backup power source, but the world's primary power source should be sun or wind power. So that's already more complex than for it or against it. We should close down all nuclear power plants as soon as possible. That's putting a little extra urgency into the against it one, which is an interesting choice, which might be intriguing to your professor. Why do you think it's so urgent? Why can't we just let them keep running? We should maintain and repair nuclear power plants that are already operating, but not build new ones. Well, that's interesting because it's right between for and against. And I'd be interested to know what the reasons are why it would be fine to keep the ones that we have running, but not okay to build new ones. Okay. We should start building more nuclear power plants as a way to invest in a cleaner future. Okay. There are arguments for that as well, and you could go into that with support, with reasons, facts, data about the different types of energy sources. So any of these opinions can be supported with all of the different things that we talked about. The highest quality support, the argument with the highest quality support will be the one that wins the debate. So think about how you will support your positions, what reasons, what facts, or what examples you can use. When you read somebody else's opinions or positions, check for yourself as well. Is this person using reasons, facts, and examples? Are they using emotional language to try and manipulate me? Are they just attacking people who disagree, saying, oh, well, if you disagree with me, you're some kind of a monster and you hate your country? which also happens online, are they accurately describing the position that disagrees with them? Some people are for nuclear energy because they hate the earth. Is not an accurate description of why people are for nuclear energy, right? Make sure that people are describing their opposite positions accurately. One of the good rules I heard was argue against the best version of your opponent's argument, not the worst version. That's a pretty good rule to follow. So think about this while you're preparing your presentations. Make sure that you have solid reasons, that you have quality rebuttals and counterarguments. Be sure that you know when you're attacking somebody's claim and when you are making a counterclaim. Okay, think about it that way, right? Are you attacking the reasons the other person holds their position, or are you suggesting reasons for a different position? Okay, this kind of thinking, it's a little more specific, and by being a little more specific, you will get higher quality thinking from it. Okay, again, go back to Smart Campus, check the homework there, finish that homework, and thank you for listening to our lectures. Have a wonderful day.